Hello to everybody trapped in an alternate universe, and welcome to this video. Today we are talking about the movie Vivarium and how I believe it is actually a perfect representation of how it feels to have an unplanned child to some people. Now, just a fair warning, this topic may be upsetting for some people, but this is not a place to call anyone evil for not wanting children. This is a video meant for thoughtful discussion of how a strange horror movie about an alien race making humans raise their children, with symbolism of cuckoos and brood parasitism, also mimics the behavior of people that neglect or abuse their children due to them being unwanted. With all of that in mind, hit that subscribe button or I will put you into a vivarium, and let's just get right into it. Vivarium, as mentioned earlier, is a horror movie that gives an alien twist to the real-life practice of birds that will lay their eggs in other birds' nests to trick them into raising their children. This time, it's an unknown alien race tricking people into alternate universe neighborhoods to raise their young until the child is fully grown, kills the parents to go off, and repeat the process. Now, our main characters for this movie are the victims of this cycle that we get to watch. The child is constantly screaming until he's fed or gets what he wants. He's spoiled, he's demonic, but he has moments of just being a child, and if I'm being honest, some kids act like this anyways without being an alien spawn. He's meant to be extremely parasitic and annoying, but his not-mother, Gemma, ends up caring for him, and even when given the opportunity, refused to kill him and even saved him from starving in the car he was locked in to see if they could finally be released. We see later on in the movie, as she finally comes to her senses to try and kill the now adult alien, there are either alternate realities happening at the same time or visions of the past of other victims to this process. Now back to my original topic, why do I believe this can represent the resentment towards unwanted children? With the not-father, Tom. In his attempts to find a way out of this forced fatherhood, he constantly finds a reason to leave the house. Family dinner time, digging a hole so deep that the couple eventually gets buried in it, and doesn't even get to bed in time to be with his partner. This shows strong parallels to a father that is unwilling to properly parent his kids, and so he runs to the store to get milk and cigarettes, or buries himself in work and being the breadwinner rather than giving any form of emotional support to the household. The visual metaphor of digging a hole so deep enough to fit the couple upon their death is also a perfect portrayal of a man constantly neglecting the family dynamic and emotional needs of his partner until the relationship, and in the case of the movie themselves, die. And now we go into Gemma, who has a much more complex feeling of her role in raising this thing. Mothers in our current world are often the ones expected to take on a strong lead in parenthood as the more emotionally in tune and caring, empathetic partner. Gemma, although still aggressive and hating having to raise the child, still treats it as her own, and as said earlier, when Tom's aggression and lack of control in the situation causes him to become physically violent and throw the child into the locked car, she saves him rather than trying to see the possibility of getting saved if the child dies. She plays with him, feeds him, tracks his growth, attempts to soothe him the best she can, and as Tom continues his neglect, coming back inside later and later, she does it all on her own. The absolute pressure of raising a child on her own that she didn't even want, and the hopes of one day being free and for everything to be over, rests on her shoulders as who should be her support system is too busy digging his own grave. Only after the death of Tom and the alien is fully grown does she try to fight back. Too little, too late. We get to pull back the curtain, or more like pull up the curb, and see multiple versions of the exact same scenario happening, but with different couples. An unwanted child with an emotionally unstable, yet desperately present mother trying to love this being, and a neglectful, aggressive father trying to find his way out. The behavior of the alien spawn also mimics how parents of unwanted children usually perceive their children. The child is representative of a binding obligation they're unable to escape and grows resentment to over time that constantly screams for attention and their needs to be met. It's something you can't even fathom as another human being because there's no healthy or logical communication with something that just knows how to scream. But who am I to say all of this whenever I don't even have kids of my own? Well, in truth, it's because I was this child. Perhaps even my own mother perceives me as an alien trap meant to ruin her life until she dies, but not like she has to worry about it, she's dead to me now. Being an unwanted child can make you feel truly alienated and separated from your parents, begging for companionship and basic needs as you're told your parents do not feel or do not want to be your parents. We see this most clearly in the scene where Gemma dies and the alien boy is bagging her up and says, "Goodbye, mother," and her last words are, "I am not your fucking mother." In the movie and even in interviews, it never gets explained why the aliens are wanting humans to raise their children. What I'm wondering is, do these aliens continue to kidnap humans and force them to raise their children as almost a revenge of sorts for how they were raised by other humans? They themselves being raised in the same way and being abused and neglected during pivotal moments rather than nurtured and creating an allyship with humans, yet drop their offspring off onto them as they know nothing other than pain during their own upbringing. I think the only real way for me to answer this question for myself would be if I ever had kids in the future, but I honestly don't think I ever will because having kids of my own is terrifying when all I know is what went wrong whenever I was growing up. This isn't about me, right? This video is just about some horror movie, not some controversial or emotional thought piece to represent myself and other people that see themselves as a product of a broken home, right? I don't know anymore. On this note, I think it's time to end the video here. Please let me know in the comments how you felt about this movie's message and hit that like button while you're down there to give me that sweet, sweet dopamine to keep making these videos. I'm sorry for this kind of weird, sad, traumatized tone I've got in this video. If I'm being honest, I was just looking back to whenever I originally watched the video and whenever the kid was just screaming all the time, I was like, man, did my mom think I was like that? And so that just spawned this video. But now that I've realized that I definitely need to get a therapist, I'm gonna go slide under a curb now. Bye bye!